Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo and I'm a wheel addict. I'm in Denver, Colorado, right outside Death and Glory Skateshop. And while being here, I ended up realizing that they have two skates that people have been asking me to talk about. And they are the new Iqon AR20 and the Iqon AR10. So what I'm going to do in this video is this is obviously not a review. I'm not going to skate them, at least for now. But I'm going to go through these skates and try to find the differences in these skates and trying to understand a little bit of what Iqon is doing in this.
In this little section of the prom.
So starting with the most affordable one, the AR20. It's apparently going to be AR30. The lowest the number, from what I've seen, the more expensive in the higher specs they put on their product. So this is the AR20, which should be the mid-range. But by mid-range, we're talking about a boot that costs around $450. It has a lot of high-end specs, so let's try to understand what's in this boot. To start with, it's a removable liner, plastic shell with plastic cuff type of boot. Now, when you look at this boot and when you look at the AR10, they look very similar from the top. So they both look a lot like a high-end mountain boot, if that makes sense, like one of those hiking boots that you can take to the mountain, waterproof, with like a quick lacing system. And it looks very, very good. It looks very futuristic, it looks very modern, and it looks like a trustable product. Now, if it's good, I don't know. I have not tried it, but I can tell you that the shell used on this boot, the plastic shell used on this boot, it's similar to the shell that I've seen used on other products, such as the Gods Frankie Morales, or such as the USD carbon free. Now, there's companies from other groups, such as the Seba CJ Plastic, that also has a plastic shell, and then with a microfiber or with a leather top, something like this. This boot also comes with a plastic cuff, and something that I like about this plastic cuff is that it has a little screw here in the back, and by unscrewing it you'll be able to take another piece of plastic that is very modular, and when you take it out, basically you will create a bit more space inside the cuff, and you will also have a little bit of a deeper V-cut. If it's going to work, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work that much of the V-cut. It's going to be more about the space that you create inside the cuff. And the reason why I say that is because underneath this cuff, there's a hard piece of foam with some leather that doesn't really have some... it has a cut here. Of course, it has a cut that will allow you to have a little bit of forward flex, but unlike some other models on the market, it doesn't have like a deeper cut. It doesn't have like some neoprene here that will make the skate go forward a bit more. So it's not a bad thing, but it's going to be a skate that will, but it's probably going to be a skate that is not going to give you a lot of forward flex. But again, I have not skated it, I don't really know. I'm judging the skate by the looks and by my experience with different skates on the market. From the people that I've heard that skated it, including the owner of Death and Glory Skateshop, Jesse, he was telling me that it feels more like a soft boot, meaning that it's a plastic shell, plastic cuff, and the top here doesn't really make it feel like super stiff. So it looks to me more like the type of skate that will give you some stability, but it will still allow you to bend your feet a lot more than something like that we're gonna check later, but will not give you a lot of forward and rear flex. So this is kind of like what I think that this skate is going to feel like. Something interesting about this skate is that it also comes with one of those free skate, I'll call it free skate, sliders, like a piece of plastic that you can put here on the side and will make your boot last a bit longer. But when I put my hand on the inside, I don't see any receptor for that, so you really need to drill. I'm not sure if you're going to feel it through the liner or not, okay? Now, before I even speak about the liner, let me go to the carbon version, which is the AR10. The AR10, man, I can justify the price of these by just saying that something like these, the cost for the production of a cuff like this, it's extremely expensive. So if it's expensive to produce, it's going to translate in a much higher price skate. So we're talking about a skate that will cost you around 640 just for the boot. And as I said, just the cuff itself will probably justify this price. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but it justifies price-wise. Then this one also has a carbon shell. I believe that this one is heat moldable, meaning that you can put it in the oven and the carbon will somehow mold a bit to your foot, so it should be comfortable, but it's also much stiffer. Something that has like carbon is usually much stiffer. Now, this one will be even more stiff than the ones that you are used to because it has a carbon cuff. A carbon cuff will give you a lot of lateral stability, and most of the times on other products that I've tried with a carbon cuff will work very good with forward and rear flex. Whenever there's movement being applied to the boot, because it doesn't really translate to any lateral movement, it's a lot easier to have a good forward and back flex, or at least like a cuff that works very good. On this skate I can't really say that because I don't know if it's going to work like that, but by feeling the inside between the liner and the cuff, I feel this thick piece that I said already here on the AR20s that I'm not sure if it's going to work as well. But I do know that a lot of people like some skates like the Seba CJ because it doesn't give a lot of forward and back flex, and they feel like they need that type of stability, especially for when a lot of the people use those skates. Meaning that a lot of people will like a boot like this with a carbon shell and a carbon cuff. Not that I know it's been used that much until now, but people like that for something that leads more stability on your foot. So people that are using like a Wizard long wheel frame or any other, there's so many long UFS frames now on the market that if you're looking into a boot that it's not the Seba CJ for that type, this could actually be a really good option. Also coming with, just like the other one, with a removable liner, and once again we're going to speak about the liner in a second. And something very interesting about this too is that it comes with a Velcro strap. It looks like made out of a high resistance material, but I don't know. But it also comes in the box with a buckle, so you can just, if you're more the buckle type of guy, you can take this strap off and just put a buckle. Something that reminds me of those old school skates, and it's not like that on other skates that I know that have a removable liner, is that this also has a tongue, just like we used to do in the 90s with our skates. The tongue is very slim, but I think it makes it look good. I like how it looks. Yeah. About the boots, I think that is it. I can also talk a bit about the sole plate, which is the exact same on both skates. So this sole plate, it's the exact same sole plate that comes on the Team Franken skate. It also comes on it used to come on the USD7. I used to love this sole plate, I still like it. And it is perforated, but none of these boots come with the holes. You can drill it, you can just drill the holes and make the sole plate be attached to the boot like more sturdy. I don't know if it's going to be needed or not, but I know that some people like it, and it's cool to see that between the sole plate and the boot, like the sole plate, they put it just like Power Slide did with other products such as, I think it's more like with Mesmer. I don't really know, but they put a little bit of neoprene in between, so it makes the skate sounds a bit better, so it doesn't go like as clacky, if that makes sense to you, which you don't expect a boot that costs $640 to be clacky, so you expect something more like high-end, like sole plate, you already know, it has a good negative space, it has a good sole space. I feel like after skating with it for a bit, it goes a bit slow, but it's not as slow as the USDA, and so it's very good for most stuff. And now the liner. The liner is the MyFit Prime liner. It is cool to see some things that I used to say that I would love to see in some MyFit liners, which is like the silicone dots here. I remember feeling a bit that I could move my toes inside in some MyFit liners, especially because of this front neoprene area, making that front part a bit more elastic. But then some liners in the past also had the neoprene underneath, and that make me not like them as much because I could have a lot of movement. So now they have a bit sturdier material on the bottom with the silicone dots. This should work good. I don't know, I'm just talking about what I see. Some silicone dots here on the back too, on the heels. It should make the heel lift not such a thing, at least the liner lifting. Maybe you can lift from the inside, but then to avoid the foot lifting inside the liner, you also have this fast lacing system. I like that the lacing system is mainly on top, meaning that you can integrate the lacing from the boots to the liner, or you can even have independent lacing just on the liner, and you don't need to be struggling with the laces as much. So this seems like a good thing. But apparently the best thing about this liner is really the tongue. People really say amazing things about the tongue. I've tried something similar to these on the Mesmer skates, and I like it. It feels a bit like silicone. It's perforated. You can really see like the holes from one side to the other, meaning that should be good for cooling the skate. The whole liner is very perforated, but it feels like you can tighten it. It's a bit of a different tongue. It's hard to explain exactly what it is, but I like it. And then it has some protection here on the side for the cuff bolts. I don't think it's needed on this boot because the whole boot on the inside is covered with some foams, and like it's all like very nicely made on the inside. And then it comes with a Velcro shock absorber, which is about 1 centimeter thickness. It's hard. It's not expected to be super soft, which is cool in my opinion. And just one last thing, it comes with an insole that is similar to the USD insole. It's a bit like hard, like so. This red part is hard, and the rest is a bit like softer. So it should give you like some good stability to the heel while giving you comfort. I'm not sure if it's not going to put you too much leaning forward, but at the same time, it also looks to me like it's a flat bottom boot, so like completely flat. So you might really want to have the shock absorber on the liner plus the shock absorber on the insole to give you that position that you're not feeling like you have that K2 feeling, like always falling backwards. But I know that's also something that people tend to adapt, so it's up to you. You have options, and this seems to be the theme here with Iqon. If you don't know anything about Iqon, the first thing that I've seen from Iqon was the frames. They made like the Swiss knife from the frames, that is like a frame that it could do almost everything. And with their skates, it looks like they're trying to do something that can be used for several types of skating. Like wizard skating is becoming more and more trendier, so they made a boot like the AR10 that I believe that it's going to be like a good boot for that type of skating. Seems like that is the theme here with Iqon. Now, to finish this video, and because you know, I have a skate shop, but I do not sell Iqon products, at least until now. And I haven't seen a lot of skate shops carrying these products, once again, at least until now. But while I was here in Denver, and especially I need to say thanks to Jesse from Death and Glory for having me here. I've seen these and I thought it would be cool to show you guys. So if you're looking into something like this, make sure to check Death and Glory website. There will be a link for that in the description. These guys are extremely cool, and they carry a lot of products, a big variety of products, including the Iqon skate line, from the frames to the boots. This is once again the AR10, the AR20. So yeah, if you're looking to buy a pair of inline skates or quads, make sure to check Death and Glory. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. You can give me a thumbs down if you didn't like this video, but please drop me a comment. Let me know in the comments what you didn't like about this video. And like I always say, more important than anything else, with $450 pairs of boots, or with 600 pairs of boots, or whatever, with cheap shoes that you just put the wheels, it doesn't matter. As long as you have fun, that's the most important thing. Just don't forget why we all started, because it's fun. Now cheers, and see you soon. Let me see if you can backflip with it. You can backflip with a 450. You can also backflip with a 640. Maybe you're gonna even overflip with this because it's too light.